One of the best priced sportback sedans that you can get on the market when you're looking at a BMW, an Audi, or Mercedes, especially with the power that we're going to be going over here, in which this has near 50-50 weight distribution. Who would expect so much performance out of a Kia? Especially when it's implemented into one of their sedans that's an everyday vehicle and mixed with fun. Regal Kia has given us the 2023 Kia Stinger GT2 in Aurora Black over black interior. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to show you why this is one of those special vehicles in the sense of all the dynamics that you get, starting off with adaptive LED headlamps at daytime runnings, because this is the GT2. The tiger nose grille brushes underneath them, large air pockets. Everything is going to be gloss black or bronze that's going around all of them. New Kia badging that was implemented a few years back with the heat extractors on the hood. Unfortunately, they're non-functional. Something that I'm not a big fan of, but it gives that performance look, and I think the whole setup, because it's low riding but it's wide, keeps that performance drive with 5.1 inches of clearance, which, by the way, is the best in class when you're comparing it to the Germans. Set with these 19-inch 5 double spoke alloy wheels with Michelin summer tires. Brembo brakes are housed with the large red brake calipers, 4 pistons in the front with a 13.8-inch disc reading. The rear 2 pistons at 13.4 inches. Limited slip differential. All-wheel drive receives electronically controlled transfer case and dynamic torque vectoring control. A McPherson strut front suspension, 5-link rear suspension. A linked at 190.4 inches with a wheelbase at 114.2 inches. The Sportback design is definitely from the Europeans, but it looks settled on the Kia, especially considering this is at least a $10,000 to $15,000 price decrease compared to an Audi RS5 Sportback. And you're getting nearly the same performance numbers, or a BMW M340i, which is still going to be at least $60,000 to $65,000. When you get into the Mercedes AMG C43, look at the pricing that you're at. The bargain that you're getting, near 50-50 weight distribution, and they don't sacrifice with the Brembo brakes. 2 pistons in the rear. Who does that? You have to really go up to a near $100,000 price point vehicle in order to get that in the rear. Everyone else is doing a single floating caliper. Here, they're giving you all that extra performance. In the rear, LED tail lamps that goes into the Kia script. GT badging, the lower, all the business is opened up. Quad exhaust outlets with the grille pattern around it and the diffuser, so it just matches all the performance that's in the front, bringing it into the rear. Power lift gate to go into 23 cubic feet of storage. It's a low, wide opening because this is a hatchback. Underneath, you'll have a spare tire. Split fold the rear bench at a 60-40 split, increasing cargo to 53 cubic feet of storage, which is more than the BMW M340, the Mercedes AMG C43. So let's go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. And they back the performance with a 3.3-liter twin-turbo gas-directed injection GDI V6, producing 368 horsepower and 376 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, achieving 18 to 25 mpgs, reaching 60 around 4.7 seconds. Quarter mile around 13.1 seconds. Going inside the GT2 Stinger, which is one of the best in class for amenities that you get, with headroom at 38.3 inches, leg space 42.6 inches, and you're not necessarily sacrificing with headspace, which you'll see throughout the cabin, even though this is a Sportback. Napa leather bucket front seat, 16-way power seat adjustment for the driver, 12-way power seat adjustment for the passenger, GT badging. The dash layout will be more sport derived, very European design, with the circular air vents in the center, gloss black on the air vents on the side, contrast stitching, satin aluminum that works on the lower bit that goes into the map navigation and your radio button functionality. With the 10.25 touchscreen, we have navigation. It has the pinch, it has the swipe. When you click here, this is a quick wedge for the passenger, or just to make it easier for the driver. Click into the home button. We have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Kia connection. Put it into reverse. We have a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory. A lot of different camera positions, so it will make it a lot easier for your reversing. On this side, you can zoom in and you can zoom out. Working into your dual climate control settings, open up inside with a wireless charging pad, a USB, a 12 volt, a little bit of storage right here. Aluminum inlays go all around the gear lever with the Nappa leather. Your driver mode select. When we click onto here, you have your Smart, Eco, Comfort, and Custom. When you put it into Sport, the bolstering will go on the side for the driver. Your heated ventilated switches to go into the camera quick. You got a little bit of a storage area here. Just as you see, it's a little tight. It's going to be more sport derived. Open up inside, and it's a long storage pocket, just not so deep, with a storage tray that can come in and out. And putting it back is always fun. But once you get it in, you have that extra storage. Leather wrapped 3-spoke steering wheel with the GT badging, square bottom, multi-function. We also have the adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist with the paddle shifters. The gauge cluster can go through an array of information for the driver. We also have, when you turn the signals on, the camera that you turn the signal on will indicate for blind spot monitoring, which is one of the only vehicles that does this besides Hyundai and Genesis. This goes through an array of information for the driver, different settings, your navigation, Bluetooth connectivity, and your analog gauges. The dashboard and the door panel configured together with the aluminum inlays, memory for the driver. The tweeter starts off. You get the soft materials with the contrast stitching, and it's pretty sporty for your elbows with the satin aluminum that brushes in. One touch up and down for the front windows, a long storage pocket with a beverage holder in the front. For the back seats, headroom is at 37 inches. If you move too much to the side though, you will be hitting the headliner because of the Sportback design. Leg space 36.4 inches, so I can fit without too many issues. Center gets USB and 12 volt with air vents in the center. Storage beyond both of the front seats. The door panel gets the same materials as the front with the aluminum, soft materials, a little bit more sport derived. Heated rear seats that's on the side for the door panels. A smaller storage pocket with an area you can fit a medium-sized flask. Sitting into the center, there's a little bit of a cutoff here, so if you find your happy medium, it's not too bad for headspace. Leg space, I'm against the back of the front seat in the position I'd be sitting. I am sharing feet, butt, and shoulder space, and because the seats contour and push you a little bit more inwards on the side, you will be more up close and personal sitting in the center. 368 horsepower, 376 pound-feet of torque, which is quite a bit. So much that it is more torque than the BMW M340i. It's more horsepower and torque than the Mercedes AMG C43. It's obviously going to be a little bit less than the RS5. That's 444 horsepower. But when you're looking at that, that's over $80,000. You can nearly buy a his and her GT1 or even a GT2. Show you a little bit of performance before we get to it. Twin turbo is ready to go. Unfortunately, the Toyota and the Honda is not. This is why I like Brembo brakes, just to show you with the 4-piston front, 2-piston rear. Look at this. Can stop on a dime. We're going to downshifter to 1. Turn radius is about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. It's fast. Oof, it's fast. I mean, you're gonna have enough fun when you get into the Kia Stinger. And you have lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, The turn signals, when you use them, will show you the camera inside the gauge display, so you are definitely safe and taken care of with that. Now that's going to take me to some things I like and dislike, and that's what we're going to start talking about. What I like about this vehicle is how much fun you get for the price point. Obviously a 3.3 twin turbo V6, it's no joke. It's a pretty good sized engine, and I mean, you're packing a lot of power underneath this. Now, if you do not option this and you go to the smaller variant, it's still fun. That's the good thing about the Stinger. When you get into other variants, you'll feel a little bit more lag. Here, it just wants to go, especially if you do option the GT. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is when you put it onto sport mode, it contours against your body, so it bolsters you and gets you prepared. Look at this, just downshift one, and the thing is ready to rock and roll. The last thing that I like, even though it's low to the ground, you still have more clearance than any of the German rivals, in which it's not going to be as bumpy. Even though the suspension is still tuned for sports, it's not something that's going to break your back. You have the cushion extensions on the driver's side. They don't have it on the passenger side, but it definitely makes it easier for somebody tall like me. If you're around 6'3", you're going to enjoy the ride, whether it's short or a long commute. Three things that I dislike about the vehicle has to start off with the fake air vents that's pretty much surrounded all over the vehicle. It looks performance, don't get me wrong, and there's a lot housed underneath the hood, but just give me something that's functional. The second thing that I dislike is something that I'm going to show you. I have to look down like this in order to see the light, because the windscreen is cut too low, in which you really have to pull back about 4 or 5 feet if you're at a stoplight in order to see the light if you're tall. Green light, here we go. It's a symphony that comes in through. Oh man, that exhaust note is just intoxicating. They did a great job in the sense of giving you that performance that you want, and it feels so much faster than anything that even projects from the numbers. The last thing that I dislike is the rear tail lights, how they wrap around and they give like a little line that's on the side panel. I just wish it was a little bit more cleaned up, just make it more seamless where it doesn't look like you extended it out, where it almost seems like you took it from a different vehicle. I know they didn't. But going back to the rivals, whether it's BMW, Audi, or Mercedes, the interior of this is going to be tight for the back, but it's still doable for adults my dimensions, which is a great thing, because typically what happens when you get these sportbacks, you're not going to have that space in the back. Sitting into the center, it's a little bit easier in this compared to the M340i, and the same thing for the Mercedes C43. Another thing to note, if you're tall like me, you'll have to adjust the steering wheel up in order to see the gauge cluster and to really utilize that camera that is in the center so you can see for your blind spot monitoring, which I say it every time I do a Kia Stinger. I don't know why all the automotive industries do not implement this, because this is one of the best safety features out. You don't have to look at the side view mirror, you can see it here. Obviously, if you don't look at the side view mirror and you wreck, I'm not responsible. The sad thing is, when they discontinue the Kia Stinger, this is something that really gave a lot of performance numbers in everything that the Germans gave for a fraction of the price. So it is one of those cars that will be missed. The sound deadening is good, because all I can really hear is that exhaust. Anytime you hit around 2 RPM or more, you're going to hear it. And show you a little dynamics. Look at this. Safety is there, as you heard all the beeps. The drive is fun. You can get in and out without any issues. It's not the longest vehicle in the world, and it packs a ton of performance underneath that hood.